All right, shalom, Israel, shalom. Man, seem like it's always something. Seem like it's always something trying to stop the movement. But we ain't gonna stop. We're gonna make sure that everything is right. We're gonna repair, and we're gonna come back twofold. So now, for all of those people that were online that didn't hear the scriptures, we're gonna recount those scriptures and go over those things again. That way, you guys can start from the very beginning with us. So apologies for the technical difficulties. But now, let's get right into it. Today's lesson is from Jacob to Israel, 12 sons, 12 tribes. Again, I do apologize if I'm going too quickly and moving through things a little bit too quickly. Just go ahead and go back and look over the information and definitely make that diligent search. But the first scripture that we're going to be starting off with, give me Revelations, chapter 1 and verse 3.
Revelations chapter 1, verse 3. Blessed is he that readeth,
Go ahead.
and they that hear the words of this prophecy.
So now it says, blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy. Why are you blessed if you read these things? Because all of these things, not only do they teach us and show us those things that were present, but also those things that are to come, but it also shows you what you are required to do as an Israelite man and as an Israelite woman. It shows you those things. Because you got to ask yourself, it's like, all right, well, when you don't read, when you don't actually open these scriptures up to actually see what's in there, aren't you kind of at a disadvantage when somebody is discussing your history to you and then trying to make it seem as though your history is something that it's not? Because they'll tell you that the history that we have is all twerking and all of that stuff. But when we read according to these scriptures, that isn't our culture. That isn't our history. We good online? Audio-wise? Let us know in the comments.
They say somebody just said the mic is off, Aki.
The mic is off.
Yeah. I'm still not on.
Check. Can you hear us? Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe turn up your phone or anything like that. But hopefully, things people can hear us.
All right.
But it says, "Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy." Go ahead.
And keep those things which are written therein.
And it says, "Keep those things which are written therein." Right? What is that? The laws, the statutes, and the commandments that was given to us. Because, as the scriptures say, that is what made us wise in the sight of the nations. Right now, there's very little wisdom. You would be hard-pressed to find any wisdom in our culture and in the things that we talk about today. That's something that is foreign to us right now, that aspect of wisdom, community wisdom, national pride even. We don't even know who the heck we are. But go ahead.
For the time is at hand.
For the time is at hand. What is that talking about? The time is at hand to repent. The time is at hand to actually dig into your history that has been hidden from you for so very long. The time is at hand. We don't have any time to waste because we see with the coronavirus, we see with everything that's going on, the economic collapse, the wars, the rumors of wars, Kim Jong-un, is he dead, is he not dead? Trump, with all the buffoonery that comes out of his mouth. I mean, it's comedy, complete comedy. Listening to that dude. The time is at hand, because if not, you are damning yourself.
Right.
That is an active choice that you are making at that point in time, and that's something that we shouldn't be doing. But go ahead and give me Deuteronomy 32 and 7.
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7.
Go ahead.
Remember the days of old.
Uh-huh.
Consider the years of many generations.
It says, remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. History is the study of times that have already passed. When you don't understand your history or history as a whole, you are damned to repeat those same downfalls that happened in those ancient and archaic times. Right. That's what they say. If you want to actually attain true meaning in your life, you got to always be thinking on history, because at some point in time, that history is going to actually replay itself. And then based off of that, you'll be able to make a more informed decision as to how you are supposed to move. So it's saying, man, remember the days of old. Remember the days of your forefathers. Remember the years of your generation, the time when you was actually a people with some wisdom in you, a people that got looked up to. Go ahead.
Ask thy father, and he will show thee.
Go ahead.
Thy elders, and they will tell you.
So it's saying ask questions, because there are such a thing as bad questions that don't actually further your understanding of a particular topic in which you are asking the question about. Ask questions. Ask those individuals that have understanding. Ask your elders. I don't see how today we have this negative stigma like, oh, well, old people can't tell me nothing. They just always argumentative and all that stuff. I don't see that when I see a lot of older Jakes, at least within here. Of course, you got those Israelites. I mean, come on. Our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, obviously. But even something there, you can still try and pick something up based off of what they're telling you and based off of what they're describing to you. Because the majority of the time, they have life experiences that they can shed light on for you, that you could gain some wisdom from. So ask these questions. Ask your elders. Because at the end of the day, all it's going to do is make you a well-rounded man and woman of the Lord. But go ahead and give me Job chapter 8 and verse 8.
Job chapter 8, verse 8.
Go ahead.
For inquire, I pray thee.
What did he say?
For inquire, I pray thee.
He said, I pray thee. Man, I'm begging you. Ask questions. Inquire of what?
Of the former age.
Of the what?
Of the former age.
Of the former age, of your history. Inquire about those things, because right now it's too many of our people that are just blindly accepting the BS history that we are taught in school.
Right.
Yeah, we blacks. Yeah, we Negroes. Yes, we African Americans. We Mexicans. We Native Americans. Where was our history prior to that? Where was our history prior to the conquistadors coming over here and slaying our people? Where was our history prior to us being taken into chattel slavery? He said, man, I'm praying, I'm begging you, please ask questions. Go ahead.
And prepare thyself to the search of their fathers.
And prepare yourself, because it's a hard search to sift through all of this misinformation. Because they'll tell you like, oh, well, the Bible is true, but because we can't place it within the confines of our timeline, it's false.
Right.
Man, that's some ludicrous BS if I ever heard it.
Yeah. Right.
Because it don't fit within your timeline, now it's false. Man, get out of here. Miss me with that. Get out of here. What they used to call them, job turkeys and suckers. Man, get out of here with that, man. He said, prepare thyself, because it's going to be a hard search to sift through all of that. It's going to be something that you need the Most High's guidance on. But go ahead. Or excuse me, give me Psalms chapter 77. Give me Psalms chapter 77, verse 5 through 6.
Psalms chapter 77, verse 5.
Go ahead.
I have considered the days of old.
Go ahead.
The years of ancient times.
I have considered the days of old, ancient times. That's something our people don't do today. As far back as we go, the furthest we go back is literally chattel slavery, and that is by design.
Right.
Because you got to ask yourself, the Olmecs, for example, that is history here in the Americas. Who created those things? Why did they create them? What type of metal was used to create these things? Are those metal deposits the same as was utilized in parts of the western coast of Africa? We don't ask these questions. We don't consider ancient times. Right. It's just like, man, how can I get this check? Man, how can I get this chick right here on my arm? Man, how can I further my own dreams, quote unquote? Those are the type of questions that we ask.
Right.
Frivolous. Things that don't have no merit. Again, those things will get you happiness.
Not even.
For real, not even. Not even.
Yeah.
Because most of the cats that got all this money, they be killing themselves.
Exactly.
So they get you what, 5 minutes of pleasure?
15 minutes of fame.
15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
That's some cold business.
Right.
You wasting your life for 15 minutes? You got to have more value in your existence than that.
Right.
Come on, Israel, let's do it. Give me verse 6.
Verse 6, I call to remembrance my song in the night.
Go ahead.
I commune with my own heart.
He said, I commune with my own heart. I'm meditating. I'm meditating on those ancient times. Go ahead.
And my spirit made diligent search.
Made what?
Diligent search.
Made what?
Diligent search.
Made diligent search. Again, you got to prepare yourself because this is something you're going to have to look over here. You're going to have to look over here. You're going to have to look over here. What is the evidence pointing to? Let me sift the bones from the meat so that way I can actually eat and understand.
Right.
But go ahead and drop down and give me verse 11 through 12.
You don't want 7?
Nah.
Okay. Verse 11, I will remember the works of the Lord.
Go ahead.
Surely I will remember thy wonders of old.
Man, because you got to ask this question. It's like just taking into account the Exodus, for example. That's a wonder, right? You got walls of water. And it's not just water. You got fish that is in that water. You're crossing the sea, a body of water on dry land. Hold up. Wait a minute. Ain't that's I mean that's going on right now? Hold up. Wait a minute.
Right.
He said, consider and remember the wonders of old. This is your history. Why wouldn't you want to know it? It'll allow you to have a better understanding of yourself as a person. Right? Go ahead and read verse 12.
Verse 12.
What do you say?
I will meditate
He will
also.
do what?
I will meditate also of all thy work.
He said, I will meditate also. It don't cut it to just read it and be like, oh, yeah, that's crazy. That happened.
Yeah. That's how it was in church, though.
Yeah.
We'll read about that story, the Exodus, but didn't know it was our people that was going through that. So once you get that full circle and know that the Most High was doing that for us, we don't really understand the power that's on our side. Right?
It's different.
Right.
Because it's like, dang, you know what? That's crazy. God did that for them?
Yeah.
It's crazy when you reflect on other people's history. Even today, it's like, man, white privilege, right? We see it and we be like, man, that must be nice.
Right.
Man, like y'all, literally, Caucasians could get away with open and blatant murder.
Right.
That must be nice. That must be fantastic.
Right.
We don't have that luxury. You steal a stick of bubble gum, you going in the hole for 20 years.
Right.
It's like, man, meditate on these things, right? Go ahead.
I will meditate also of all thy work.
Go ahead.
And talk of thy doings.
And talk of thy doings. All of the things that the Most High did for us, so-called black man, so-called Latino man, so-called Native American man and woman, and those that are scattered abroad, because we can't just pinpoint to the North and South Americas. It's so-called blacks and Latinos getting oppressed all over the place. He said, I'm going to talk of these doings. I'm going to talk of the doings of my Heavenly Father. Because what is it going to do for you? It's going to instill that level of faith, that level of hope within you. Because right now, we just walking around like zombies. Zombies looking around for the next fix, next thing to either entertain or the next thing to feed on.
What he say, Valley of Dry Bones?
Valley of the Dry Bones. We dead, all right?
Right.
We dead.
Right.
Most High said, nah, talk of these things. It'll bring some life back into you. It'll quicken you. These laws, these statutes, these commandments, your history, it'll quicken you. It'll get you back up on your feet. I guarantee it. Because in all the things that are going on right now, I haven't met one Hebrew that's over here running like a chicken with his head cut off. That's over here scared. I was just talking to my brother Bayan Shakal today out in Detroit.
Okay.
And he was like, man, I was telling my family, I was like, you got to understand, they scared. They ain't never seen nothing like this.
Right.
They don't know what the heck is going on, but it's all right here. It's been right here for generations.
Right.
So now we got to make that diligent search, as David was saying. So let's get into it. Switch me over to the PowerPoint, all right? Now we got to ask some questions. What's the first question? Who was Jacob? Did he actually exist? Did he? The scriptures say that he does. Give me Genesis 25 and 11. Hold that for right now, though. Okay. I'm going to read this. It says, the second born of the two sons of Isaac and Rebekah, his conception being supernatural in answer to Isaac's prayer. He was born when his father was 60 years old, probably at the well Lahai Roy. And this is out of the Unger's Bible Dictionary by Merrill Unger, a historian, somebody that authored, I believe, 40 plus books just dealing with the scriptures and their historicity alone. And historicity meaning their validation by all of the extra biblical sources that we find in the world today. But go ahead and have me, get me back to that PowerPoint, Doc. Give me Genesis 25 and verse 11.
Genesis chapter 25, verse 11.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass after the death of Abraham that God blessed his son Isaac. And Isaac dwelt by the well Lahai Roy.
Okay, so now we see where this information is lining up with what this historian just said. Now, give me verses 21 through 26.
Verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife.
Okay, supernatural. Go ahead.
Because she was barren.
Read.
And the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her.
Okay.
And she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
Go ahead.
And she went to inquire of the Lord.
Now let me ask you a question. Anybody that's had carpet in the past, you had carpet out?
God.
When you spill wine or a beverage out of something, you got to put in work, right, to get that particular beverage out of the carpet, right?
God.
That means, so it's a struggle, right, to get those things, because you rubbing against the grain, you like, God, dog, how do I get this out?
Right.
Now, it said the same thing was happening in our foremother's belly, a struggle. Go ahead.
Verse 23, and the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
Hold up, 2 what?
2 nations are in thy womb.
Read.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
No wonder it's a struggle going on. 2 manner of people. We got a cat that's over here walking righteously and upholding the law, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High. And then we got an individual that the scriptures say, lest there be any fornicator more profane. We got those 2 separate people, 2 different ideologies, 2 different ways of living that's going on. Go ahead.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
Go ahead.
And the elder.
The what?
The elder.
Go ahead.
Shall serve the younger.
And the elder shall serve the younger. We're going to see that play out.
Right.
But that's something that we got to key in on. We got to remember that all of these things happen by way of what? Divine intervention. Right. The Most High's will be done, right? Ain't that in the prayer in Matthew? It's like, let thy will be done, right? We got to ask the Most High's will to be done, not our own. Because if it was left to our own devices, we would be in a lot more trouble. We would be in a lot more trouble. Now, the elder is going to serve the younger. Go ahead.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment.
Go ahead.
And they called his name Esau.
So they described this first child. Obviously, when you're describing somebody that doesn't look like the rest of the people, this individual looked like an outlier.
Right.
Whoa, what the heck is that?
Right.
They pulled one of those. They pulled one of those. It was like, what is this? I don't know what this is. Go ahead.
And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
Now, what did we just read? The elder shall serve the younger, right?
Right.
Esau came out first, right?
Right.
So that means that Jacob is going to be on top at a certain point in time. Go ahead.
And his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them.
Now, going back to what Merrill Unger said in his dictionary, right? Said that they were probably born at Lahai Roy. That's what we read in verse 11, right? We read that this was by way of divine intervention, right? We read that in the scriptures as well. And then we also read, where Isaac was 60 years old. The Bible is history. We can't take it as, oh man, this is bias or anything like, no. This is telling a story of a particular people, but not pinholing it and pinpointing it to a story that is biased. It is an abridged story. So yes, what it say? Make that diligent search, right? Now, we got to ask another question. Okay, get me back to the PowerPoint. We got to ask another question. Jacob's well, what about that? What about that, right? Because typically, places that are named after people require the person to have lived in some point in history, right? It says we see this with Colombia, for example, named after Christopher Columbus. The same is true with the Philippines, named after King Philip II of Spain. Even for America, we see that America was named after a man named Amerigo Vespucci. These are just a few instances in modern history, so one can surmise that Jacob, one of the patriarchs of Israel, was indeed alive at some point in history for this particular landmark to be named after him. We got street names named after cats that were alive. We don't just have street names that are just made or named after made-up figures, right? So it's like, all right, well, let's get into it. Jacob's well. It says the well mentioned in John chapter 4 and verse 6 as the well of Jacob, where Yahweh talked to the Samaritan woman. For more than 23 centuries, Samaritans have believed that this is true. Jews likewise have believed the same in spite of the location of the well being in Samaria. Now, this is another book reference, the Zondervan's Bible Dictionary, page 264. But even more so than that, on the right, what do we have? We have a book reference from G.H. Dahlman, The Sacred Sites and Ways, published in 1935, pages 212 through 215. And what does it say? It says, Jacob's well, a well near Sychar in Samaria, where Jesus talked with the Samaritan woman. This is just one reference naming Jacob's well, there is just one reference naming Jacob's well in the Bible, John chapter 4 and verse 6. Jesus had to pass through Samaria, and in so doing, came to a city of Samaria called Sychar, near the field that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. Jacob's well was there. There was a problem with the town named Sychar, the modern Ascar, which sounds most like it, though in the vicinity is not near enough to the well. Furthermore, Ascar has its own spring. Perhaps it is that Sychar is an evolution of the name Shechem. Genesis 33 and verse 18 states that Jacob came to Shechem, Hebrew for parcel, portion, or lot, and bought the land on which he was camped. There is no Old Testament record of him digging a well, but that he should do so is certainly reasonable and accepted by modern theologians and scholars. Shechem, Sychar of John chapter 4, is now generally agreed to be Tel Balatah. Bir Yakub, as the well of Jacob is presently called, is circa 1 mile east of this Tel, and a Tel is an artificially made mound. This is also at the foot of Mount Gerizim, to which the Samaritan woman alluded. So now we have, again, extra biblical sources, right? That are going out and verifying the things that are written in our history book. Right. These people are saying, you know what, that doesn't make any sense. Jacob's well is named after a cat named Jacob, so maybe he did exist. Okay, he had to exist because we don't name anything after cats that didn't exist. Right. Take football, for example, the Redskins. Who that's named after? Supposedly named after Native Americans. Yeah. They call them the Redskins, but the people that called them the Redskins are actually the Redskins. That's the craziest part about it. They describe it themselves. Right. Savages. Right? So now we have one extra biblical reference as that's compiling on top of the things that Merrill Unger, as well as the Zondervan's Bible Dictionary already laid out. Now, one may ask, well, where the heck is that? Because I'm not well versed in geography, and the vast majority of my people can't actually visualize the geographical locations that were actually being discussed. Right. So don't worry about it. I got you, Israel. I got you, family. Let's go to Proverbs 14 and 8 real quick, though.
Proverbs chapter 14, verse 8.
Go ahead.
The wisdom of the prudent.
The what?
The wisdom of the prudent
Ooh, go ahead.
is to understand his way.
It's to understand whose way?
His way.
Other people's way.
His way.
It's to understand his way. That's your wisdom, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. That's your wisdom in the side of the nation. It's like, dang, I do got a rich history.
Yeah. Right.
Dang, I am kings and queens, huh? But even more so than that, I'm a God when I act right.
Right.
But because of our disobedience, we're going to die like men. Now, we can't skip over that. Everybody like to hold on to the positive stuff. Israel, we done did some wrong.
Still doing it.
Still doing it. So what the Most High said, he said, the time is at hand. You got to repent. But he said the wisdom of the prudent is to understand his way. But, go ahead.
But the folly of fools is deceit.
But the folly of fools is deceit.
Right.
That individual, they just going to believe whatever the heck anybody tell them.
Right.
Right? It's like, well, yeah, but what these cats are saying about the Bible not fitting in the timeline and all that stuff, I believe that a little bit more.
Right.
It's more so-called white folk that are backing that hypothesis. It's like, no. The wisdom of the prudent meaning what? Diligent, is to understand his way. Right. So now, take me back to the slide. I got two maps. I have two maps. The one on the left, that one was an illustration of the Holy Land from 1300 BC to 1020 BC. And this is actually a book that I have at home. Fantastic book that lists a lot of the maps and areas that were previously known in the world. Now, in that area right there where the circle is, you'll see Samaria, Shechem, and I believe you'll also see Shiloh. You see all of those three places. Now, what did G.H. Dallman say? He said that the well was located in the same place that is commonly called Shechem, and now is modernly known as Tel Balata. Now, when comparing the two photos, or the two maps, we can see that those areas are just northwest of the Dead Sea, and I believe northeast of Tel Aviv, right? Where Tel Aviv would be if we had it on the ancient map. These two places are in the exact same places. And we have historians that are going out and saying, you know what? That lines up. That lines up with what we see in the scriptures, both in the Old Testament as well as the New Testament, because you got to utilize both. You have to utilize both. You can't just utilize one, because then you'll have a broken understanding of your scriptures and your history. So now we got that. Pull this out on people when they try and say, well, that ain't right. That ain't true. Pull this out on them. And those are the references down below. On the left, it says the Then and Now Bible Maps by Rose Publishing, as well as on the right, we see isaw.nyu.edu. That is a college institution. Now let's get into the scriptures. Let's go back to that. Give me Genesis chapter 25 to the beginning, 27 through 30.
Genesis chapter 25, verse 27.
Go ahead.
And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter,
Go ahead.
a man of the field.
Go ahead. He still is today. Right. Go ahead.
And Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents.
And good old Jacob, he like, man, I'm just about to chill. Mm-hmm. We like kickbacks. We like backyard barbecues. Right. We like all of that. Right. They want to go out and get stung by the murder hornet and go out and get stung and beat up by gorillas and all of that other stuff. Right. They want to go out and do that. We like, well, so long as I got me some fire water or some yayan, I'm good. And I'm with the family? Oh, shucks. All right. That's a good day. Right? Today was a good day, right? But go ahead.
Verse 28.
Uh-huh.
And Isaac loved Esau.
Right.
Because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob.
Go ahead.
And Jacob sawed pottage.
Okay.
And Esau came from the field.
Okay, now, what is pottage? What exactly is that? Pottage, it's a noun. Cookery, a thick meat or vegetable soup. This definition is provided by the Free Dictionary by Farlex. Pottage, a thick meat or vegetable soup. Now, go ahead and read verse 29 one more time.
And Jacob sawed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint.
Now, remember that. He was faint. Go ahead.
And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage.
It said, feed me, I pray thee, of that same red pottage. Now, if this is a thick meat, vegetable soup, right? You got to ask yourself, well, why the heck is the meat red? When meat is actually thoroughly cooked through, then it's no longer red. Right. That means that the blood was still coming out of it. So this man said, man, I'm so hungry right now, I'm going to eat it with the blood still in it.
Give me that raw.
Give me that raw. Give me that, what is it, rare?
Rare.
Yeah, give me that rare meat. I want it raw. It's like, man, that's disgusting. What is wrong with you? You're going to have all types of parasites in your system. Right. But hey, he was able to eat it. They still are. Their bodies are made for such things. But now let's go back to the PowerPoint. What is red, as according to the Hebrew Concordance or the Strong's Concordance? Red from H122 from H119. Rosy, red, or ruddy. Now again, if this meat was not thoroughly cooked through, then obviously that meat would then be turning that particular pottage or that soup red. Now, is there some sort of, I guess, reference in the scriptures that we can point to that makes the distinction? Like, was this meat? Was this vegetables? What exactly is it? Go to Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 16. Hold that Genesis. We're coming back to that.
Got it.
But give me that Hebrews.
Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16.
Go ahead.
Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
What?
Sold his birthright.
Now, hold on. Jacob tricked him, Mark. Jacob tricked him. He deceitfully tricked him. There was no selling. He tricked him. All right, am I misreading that? Go ahead and read that one more time from the top.
Lest there be any fornicator or profane person
Go
as
ahead.
Esau,
Because we see how profane he is today. Right. Go ahead.
Who for one morsel of meat.
That answers our question. That answers the question that we just had. Was it a thick meat or vegetable soup? So all these things are lining up, right? But go ahead.
Who for one morsel of meat
did what?
Sold his birthright.
He sold his birthright. We got to understand that because, again, those same theologians, they say, well, he was deceitfully, he was tricked into giving up his birthright. Come on, you can see that in the scripture. Come on. Anybody can see that. Right. It's like, well, according to the scriptures, that ain't true. He sold it. But why? Let's go back.
Pick up at verse 30.
Yes, pick up at verse 30.
And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage.
Okay, go ahead.
For I am faint. Mm-hmm. Therefore was his name called Edom.
Meaning that his blood shows forth through his skin. Go ahead.
And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright.
Okay, go ahead.
And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me?
Hold on, brother, you misreading that. What did he say?
I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me?
He didn't even care for the birthright. He didn't even care for it. He said, man, I'm about to die. You think I care about this birthright? Man, here.
Right.
Give me that food. That's what I want. What does that allude to further in the spirit? Always thinking about carnality. Physically minded, never could tap into the spirit. Incomplete as a person. Completely incomplete, destitute of any spiritual understanding. Right? But go ahead and read.
And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him.
So they made an agreement. He didn't trick him. Right. We reading it right here. He didn't trick him. They made an agreement. He said, sell me your birthright. He said, what is this birthright going to do for me? I'm hungry, man. Give me that food. Right. He said, swear it to me. Swear it to me. Okay, what'd he do?
And he swore unto him,
Go ahead.
and he sold his birthright unto Jacob.
And he sold his birthright. How many times we didn't just read that?
Like 3 or 4 times.
We got to keep going over it because, again, these theologians, they'll try and pull the wool over your eyes.
Right.
They will try and pull the wool over your eyes, but you got to have that wisdom. Like, nah, that ain't what the scriptures is saying.
Right.
But go ahead.
Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils.
The meat and vegetable soup. Go ahead.
And he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way.
Go ahead.
Thus Esau despised his birthright.
He did what?
Despised his birthright.
Esau despised his birthright. He didn't want that, man. He like, a birthright?
I'm full.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Going off into the distance with his little wheat in his mouth, singing and skipping. Skipping to my loop, right? Oh, yeah, boy, that was good, man. The pig feet and all that stuff. Right? Ain't that what they be eating on? Like, man, I'm good. I'm solid. But let's go ahead and continue. Give me Genesis chapter 27, 18 through 19.
Genesis chapter 27, verse 18.
Go ahead.
And he came unto his father and said, My father. And he said, Here I am. Who art thou? My son?
Now, for a little bit of context, what is this? This is Jacob now going into his father to receive the blessing that his brother traded him that pottage of lentils for, right? Because it was stated Isaac was in his latter age, and he was like, you know what, man? Look, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be alive. Let me bless y'all while I'm still alive. So he told Esau, you know what, go out there, give me some venison and all of that stuff, come back, cook it up, and then I'm going to bless you from there. His wife, Rebekah, said Rebekah favored Jacob, right? Had the spirit of the Most High on her, like, man, if this man right here gets that birthright, it's going to be hell to pay. Oh, my goodness. Imagine for a minute a perpetual kingdom full of homosexuals and transsexuals. Oh, my goodness. Pedophiles. All of the different aspects of spiritual degradation that goes on today. Imagine being with some of the likes of Donald Trump forever. Like, oh man. Nah. Rebecca was like, nah, we ain't having that. Spirit of the Most High was moving with our foremother. It's like, nope, Jacob, you need to go in there and get this birthright. He was asking, I'm not a hairy man. Boy, I'm going to make you a hairy man. Don't worry about it. Go in there and get this birthright. Don't ask no questions. Go in there. I'm going to hook it up just how your dad likes it. Don't worry about it. Spirit of the Most High. Go ahead and read verse 19.
Verse 19. And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau, thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, seek and eat of my venison, that thy soul may bless me. So,
that his soul may bless him, right? So it's like, all right, again, the elder shall serve the younger. Again, divine intervention. Let's not lose sight of that. Because they'll say, well, no, he went in deceitfully and tried. No. Divine intervention. The Most High said, nah, boy, you're going to go up in there, you're going to get that birthright. Drop down to verse 26.
Verse 26. And his father Isaac said unto him, Come near now and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him.
Go ahead.
And he smelled the smell of his raiment and blessed him and said, See, the smell of my son is as the smell of the field which the Lord hath blessed.
So now we got to go back and reference. It's like, okay, well, Jacob, he had put on one of a pelt, you know what I'm saying, of an animal to smell as though he was of the field, right? And he passed all of his father's questions and all of that stuff. And the Most High was like, look, man, you're going to get this blessing. You're going to get this blessing. Go ahead. What is that blessing?
Verse 28.
Go ahead.
Therefore, God give thee of the dew of the heaven, heaven.
Go ahead.
And the fatness of the earth.
Go ahead.
Plenty of corn and wine.
Oh, my goodness. The dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of corn and wine. Do you understand what that is? Yeah. That's agricultural abundance. Not just, oh, yeah, I got a good season here, I got a good season there. We had, man, the earth itself was yielding its best fruit for the likes of Israel. We see right now, what are they doing? They growing meat in labs.
Right.
In vitro meat, that ain't something new. That's been going on since the 60s.
Right.
They just now putting it out there, and people is just starting to catch on to it. But this has been going on since the 60s. Thinking that you eating a prime burger or something like that. No.
Right.
That's a test tube burger. Some cold business. Now go ahead.
Verse 29. Let people serve thee,
Uh-huh.
and nations bow down to thee.
Okay.
Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's son bow down to thee.
And let thy mother's son bow down to thee, as we just read, right?
Uh-huh.
So now it's like, all right, well, you're going to have servants on top of the agricultural abundance that you are going to have. You have complete and utter dominion. Man.
It'd be nice.
It must be nice. Must be nice. Because Esau, he got that right now.
Right.
Anybody try and mess with Esau, do you want me to push the button? Are you sure you really want to go there? Right. I could kill you in an instant. You don't want to test me. He has complete and utter dominion over everybody right now.
Right.
Now imagine having that forever now. That's the blessing that was given to the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans and those scattered abroad. Man, all praises that was given to us. And that our foremother was like, nah, boy, you need to go up in there because this ain't going to bode well for the entire earth if your brother get this blessing. But go ahead and read.
Cursed be every one that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father,
Who came in?
that Esau his brother came in from his hunting.
Now Esau showing up late. I'm here, Daddy. I got that food for you.
Right.
Just how you like it, too. But he said, man, blesses everybody that bless you. We see that even with, I believe, what was it? Tyree and Zidon, right? Those cats, when they were with us, the Most High said, man, y'all gonna excel.
Right.
But as soon as they betrayed us, then it was like, y'all gonna get destroyed now.
Right.
We see all of these things playing out in history. This ain't nothing new. This ain't something that's foreign. This is all well documented in history, in our history, no less.
Right.
The scriptures that was made for us. Now, give me Genesis chapter 20, or stay in Genesis. Read down, read verse 30 to 32.
I just read 30. You want me to start at 30?
Yeah, go ahead and read verse 31.
All right. Verse 31. And he also had made savory meat, and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise and eat of his son's venison,
Go ahead.
that thy soul may bless me.
Now look, this boy Esau is cold, man.
Right.
This boy is cold. I don't have children, but I do have a lot of nephews and nieces. Observing kids is hilarious because you're able to get a better understanding of some things. Now, Esau and Jacob, this is no different than a kid, Esau, no different than a child that is minding his own business. He's in his world, he's playing with Legos, not even worried about anything else that's going on around him or remotely near him. Don't have any care for the things that he's just sat down. Now, you go and try and pick up his tablet. Ooh, it's war.
No,
It's-
I don't want that. It's mine.
Mine. What you doing, man? You gonna come and take my stuff? Come on, man. It's like you were just playing with Lego. You wasn't even worried about this. Right? I know my brothers can testify, man. I be seeing my nephews. It's like, yo, this is crazy. It's crazy. I hear my brother laughing in the back. This is some wild stuff. But that's the mentality that Esau had, the mind of a child. Right? He like, nah, I want it when everybody else want it.
Right.
But he didn't see no value in it at first.
Right.
He was like, birthright, man, I want that food.
God.
Now I'm good, peace.
God.
And I wasn't going to say nothing about it. Go ahead, read verse 32.
Verse 32. And Isaac his father said unto him, who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau.
Okay, drop down. Give me verse 37.
Verse 37. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy lord.
Ooh, go ahead.
And all his brethren have I given to him for servants.
Man, his heart is shattered. He said, what? No.
Right.
Go ahead.
And with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son?
Isaac said, man, look, now you his servant. I can't revoke what I just gave to this man. It's too bad, man. Again, that intervention by the Most High. Go ahead and read.
And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father?
Now he doing that good old victim role, ain't he? What? Come on, Dad. You only got one blessing, really? Please, come on, Daddy. Please, come on, Daddy. Come on. I know you got another blessing. I just want a little bit of the blessing. Can you give me a little bit of it?
Right.
But he just sold it 2 chapters ago. He just threw it away 2 chapters ago. Oh, but he didn't tell Isaac that.
No, he didn't.
Nah, he didn't. Nah, he didn't. Go ahead.
Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
That boy started crying. Oh, no. I got to serve my brother. No.
Right.
Come on. Go ahead.
And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above.
Read.
And by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it came to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
Now this is heavy. This is foreshadowing a lot, obviously, that we see within history. Right? It says, by the sword shalt thou live. This man has perfected the art of war, the art of torture. He has perfected it. I mean, he thinks on things that no logical and humane person would even think to do to another person. Right. Yeah, maybe if I peel him up real slow and throw some paprika on him and then do this and do that. It's like, man, what are you talking about? Like, why are you thinking of these things? Right. How is this something that you're so comfortable in feeling? Right? It says, by the sword shalt you live, and you will serve your brother. There was a period in time where Esau didn't have any dominion. Right. He was serving everybody, and he served us, right, during the time in which we were ruling. But it also said, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Now, what is that talking about? That's talking about in the year 333 BC, Alexander the Greek. He was like, you know what? You're going to take those yoke, those aspects of servitude off of you, and then you're going to have dominion. Go ahead and read verse 41.
Verse 41, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him.
But he didn't want it.
He didn't.
He didn't want it. But again, it goes back to that perfect illustration of the victim card. Right. No, he beguiled me. He tricked me. That's why all of these good old quote-unquote white theologians are saying, no, Esau was tricked. Right. He was fooled. It's like, no, he knew exactly what he was doing. Selling a birthright is no small matter. Right. And an individual that has some sort of spiritual understanding would have been like, sell my birthright? What is you talking about? Right. Man, you better miss me with that. Right? But unfortunately for him, he didn't think like that. Fortunately for us, the Most High moved in our favor and was like, nope, Israel, y'all going to get the blessing. Right. Jacob, you're going to get the blessing. Rebekah, move your son in the ways in which I move you. Tell him the words in which I tell you. Go ahead.
And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
Obviously, Isaac was on his deathbed, right? So he's like, you know what, man? I'm going to wait till my pops is dead. Then after that, I'm going to kill you. Right. He made a promise, and he has stuck to that promise ever since then. Right. We see it even in Numbers, right? The Amalekites. We was warring with them. It didn't take thousands of years for this to happen. Right. We came out of Egypt, and they was like, oh, snap.
Fresh meat.
Fresh meat. Let's go ahead and take them out. Right. Amalekites, boy, they have constantly warred with us. And now today, they posing as us. Imposters. Right. In the worst way. Because they ain't got no flavor. They ain't got no aspect of any sort of spiritual understanding. Right. They don't have any of those things. They don't have the blessing that the Most High blessed his children with. They don't have none of that. But he stuck to that promise that I'm going to slay my brother. Right. Give me Ezekiel 25. I'm going to veer off, then we're going to come right back. Right. Ezekiel 25, 12 through 14.
Okay. Ezekiel chapter 25, verse 12.
Go ahead.
Thus said the Lord God, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah.
Because who?
Edom.
Go ahead.
Have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance and have greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. Therefore say the Lord God, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom.
So Edom, the progenitor of the Esau, the progenitor of the Edomite nation today, dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, right? Okay. So that same promise that he made back then, that I'm going to kill y'all, that's that aspect of vengeance. Okay. I'm still going to take that. Oh, y'all thought I forgot? No. Nah. This man is cunning. He's a cunning hunter. The scripture said it best. He said, I'm going to wait until I can come to y'all and get y'all. Right. He plans into the future on y'all downfall, on our downfall as a collective. He said, if I can attack them in the physical as well as in the spirit, I can continue to reign. I can continue to reign, but go ahead and read verse 13.
Thus said the Lord God, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it.
Go ahead.
And I will make it desolate from Taman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword.
Most High said, I'm going to slay y'all, though. Esau, I'm going to slay y'all. Thus saith the Lord. I ain't make this up. This is what I'm reading. Right? This is a prophecy that the Most High said, oh, it will come to pass. Go ahead. Read verse 14.
And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel.
Ooh, that's a cold get back right there.
Can't wait for that one.
That's it. Yeah.
Can't wait for that one.
That's a cold get back. He said, man, you gotta ask yourself. You hate these people so much that you are willing to destroy yourself to destroy a small number of them. Right. But then, just to add insult to injury, the Most High said, I'm going to slay you by the hand of the same people that you trying to go out and kill. Right. Whoo, imagine Esau's face when he see us rolling up with swords made of light and bows and arrows coming and raining down thunder. Ooh, wee. He see Yahweh Shai being a melanated man, cracking that sky open, destroying all of Esau. Oh man, he's going to be in utter bewilderment.
They kill
what?
They kill themselves over $2,000 credit cards.
Oh yeah.
Imagine when that happened. They see Yahweh Shai like what?
For real. They like, oh man, my credit, my college fund, my trust fund. No, I can't buy that yacht.
Right.
Doggone it. It's like the Most High said, I'm going to slay you by the same people that you think you are going to slay. Right. That's the coldest get back I'd have never heard, boy. Go ahead and read.
And they shall do in Edom according to my anger.
According to the Most High's anger. Go ahead.
And according to my fury.
Ooh-wee. Go ahead and read.
And they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord God.
And they shall know my vengeance. Good old Esau. Right. They going to know. Most High going to make it very clear. Nah, y'all going to feel the sword. Y'all going to feel every burning, piercing feeling of this iron cutting into your flesh. And then even more so than that, your spirit being tormented forever. That's some cold business, man. But all praises because we got brothers that is dropping like flies right now. We just had a brother that was out on a run. And you had people that was waiting for him. They didn't just roll up on him. They was waiting for him. Right. I say all praises to the Most High that we are going to be able to be redeemed and that those same murderers will be repaid and that there will actually be justice this time. Right. There is no justice for the so-called black, Latino, and Native American man here in this world. And it's not even just the Edomites. We got brothers and sisters that are possibly getting killed over there in China right now. Right. Come on. Israel, we're going to be redeemed. But again, the Most High said, you got to prepare yourself for the times at hand. You got something to do. It ain't just going to come to you. You got to repent. But go ahead. Read verse 42.
verse 40.
Genesis, my bad. Genesis 27 and verse 42. My bad, I'm excited.
That's all good. Here we go. Genesis chapter 27, verse 42. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, Behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doeth comfort himself, proposing to kill thee.
So he's like, man, that's how he's getting this comfort. That's how he's being able to sleep at night. Right. I'm going to kill these so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, those that are in Sweden, right, those that are in England, those that are in China. Those that are in China, those that are in Africa. I'm killing y'all. Right. And I'm going to be able to sleep like a baby at night. Go ahead.
Now therefore, my son, obey my voice, and arise, flee thou to Laban, my brother in Haran.
See, again, Rebekah utilizing that wisdom. Right. That, man, it's a beautiful thing to see. Utilizing that wisdom, saying, nah, son, I need you to listen to me. Go ahead and flee to my brother. Go ahead.
Right. And tarry with him a few days until thy brother's fury turn away.
Go ahead.
Until thy brother's anger turn away from thee, and he forget that which thou hast done to him. Then I will send and fetch thee from thence. Why should I be deprived also of you both in one day?
She was like, man, why would I be deprived of my son as well as my husband in one day? Right. So again, the Spirit of the Most High was sitting on our foremother to guide her son, right? And say, look, this is what you need to do. Now, give me Genesis 28, 1 through 5.
Genesis chapter 28, verse 1. And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him, and charged him and said unto him, Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan.
Go ahead.
Arise, go to Padanaram, to the house of Bethel, thy mother's father, and take thee a wife from thence of the daughters of Laban, thy mother's brother.
And the Spirit of the Most High ended up resting on Isaac as well. Right. Go ahead.
And God Almighty bless thee and make thee fruitful and multiply thee, that thou mayest be a multitude of people.
That thou mayest be a multitude of people. And exactly what Isaac said is what ended up happening. Right. He ended up going to Laban, right? Okay. And then from there was able to increase exponentially in the, some 20-odd years that he was there, right? Go ahead, read verse 4.
And give thee the blessing of Abraham to thee and to thy seed with thee, that thou mayest inherit the land wherein thou art a stranger, which God gave unto Abraham.
So again, more aspects of the inheritance coming to Jacob, right? And saying, okay, well, eventually that's going to go down into your seed and into those multitude of people, right? That aspect of dominion, that aspect of being able to be well favored with the Most High. Go ahead and read verse 5.
And Isaac sent away Jacob, and he went to Padanaram unto Laban, son of Bethuel, the Syrian, the brother of Rebekah, Jacob's and Esau's mother. So
now he made his flight, right? That's what's commonly known in antiquity as Jacob's flight. Now, give me Genesis 29, 1 through 5.
Genesis chapter 29, verse 1. Then Jacob went on his journey and came into the land of the people of the east. And he looked.
And the people of the east, typically that is making reference to the individuals that were living in the district of Mesopotamia. Go ahead.
And he looked, and behold, a well in the field. And lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks, and a great stone was upon the well's mouth. And thither were all the flocks gathered, and they rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the sheep, and put the stone upon the well's mouth in his place.
Go ahead.
And Jacob said unto them, My brethren, whence be ye? And they said, Of Haran are we.
So now Jacob then came to this land, right? And he's asking questions. He's like, man, I've seen these cats. Who are these dudes? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make it to my destination. Let me see if they know who Haran is, right? Because that's who his mother told him to go and search for, right? Go ahead.
Verse 5. And he said unto them, Know ye Laban, the son of Nahar? And they said, We know him.
So now he was able to make it to the place and make it to a people that knew the very person that he was searching for, right? So again, the Most High leading him in that to that degree. Now drop down and read verse 9.
Verse 9. And while he yet spake with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them.
Rachel kept her father's sheep. Now, this individual, this sister right here, you know what I'm saying, was diligent. And as we see, Jacob was infatuated by this sister.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Completely infatuated. Now drop down and read verse 12 through 14.
Verse 12. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son. And she ran and told her father.
So now Rachel, being the daughter of Laban, went and told Laban. It's like, man, my cousin is here, right? You know what I'm saying? Laban, your nephew is here. Right. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And it came to pass, when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him, and embraced him, and kissed him, and brought him to his house. Mm-hmm. And he told Laban all these things.
Go ahead.
And Laban said to him, Surely thou art my bone and my flesh. Mm-hmm. And he abode with him the space of a month. So
now he made it to his destination. He was able to find Laban, and now he was able to abide with Laban, right? Except for at that particular point in time, he abode with him for the space of a month, which we know is 30 days, right? Now, let's get something. Because we've read a lot in the scriptures, right? But now, let's get an extra biblical source to help substantiate what it is that we're reading. Now, you should see on your screen, it says the Newsy People /region by OxfordBibliographies.com. It says, more than 6,500 cuneiform texts and fragments have been discovered in northeastern Iraq in the vicinity of modern Kirkuk, ancient Arafah, and from the excavations of Yorgan Tep, ancient Nuzi, and Tel al-Fakar, excavations at the modest Mitanni period town of Nuzi have exposed various types of settlements, including the main urban, administrative, and religious centers. Portions of suburbs that were more than 300 meters north of the walled town were also excavated, which revealed a number of socially and economically diverse houses. Cuneiform archives, both public and private, came from all these areas, providing a rich context for understanding a relatively modest-sized ancient Near Eastern town in the 2nd millennium BCE. The population of the town of Nuzi, including suburbs, has been estimated to be about 1,500 to 2,000 people, according to Made Man 1995, cited under general overviews. And when you see these individuals that are highlighted in green, they are making reference to either articles in which these men have wrote, or they are making reference to books that these men have wrote. Now it says, Nuzi was a city in the kingdom of Arafah, vassal to the larger kingdom of Mitanni, a confederation of Hurrian states in Upper Mesopotamia. Although the city of Nuzi did not have a king, a mayor is mentioned who answered to the king of Arafah. Documents describe the fact that Nuzi had relations, both economic and military, with other kingdoms such as Kassite Babylonia and Assyria. Nuzi was probably destroyed by the Assyrians circa 1350 BCE, a fact that is implied textually and attested archaeologically by massive destruction levels. Now it goes on to say, general overviews of the city and culture of Nuzi are understandably few, but noteworthy. Spicer, 1953, remember that name, we're going to be talking about him later, is one of the earliest attempts at placing the Hurrians in the context of world history. Made Man, 1995, provides the best overall study of the site itself, as well as its political, legal, economic, religious, and social structures. Morrison 1992 is equally useful and provides a critique of the value of newsy to biblical studies. Now hold up, swole up, as one of my brothers loves to say. Now we have a town in Mesopotamia, and when we just read in the scriptures, it said, and Jacob went on this journey and came into the land of the people of the east, which again is the district of Mesopotamia. We see that in Genesis chapter 29 and verse 1. Now, the newsy, as we're going to continue to read, documented a few different things that relates to the biblical studies that we have here today in our Holy Scriptures. Now let's continue to read. It says, the writer, Made Man 2010 is more detailed and is written for a general audience. The writer carefully selected nearly 100 newsy texts that help in the reconstruction of the political and social history of the region. A brief article, Stein 1997, concentrates on the archaeological features of Yagorn Tepe. Other studies provide information concerning Nuzi and a larger cultural and historical environment. Wilhelm 1989 and Freud 2003 both survey the history of the Mitanni kingdom and feature much information from the Nuzi texts. A succinct survey of the history of Nuzi studies can be found in Wilhelm 1999, which is also a biblical dictionary. Now, we have a background on the Nuzi and or the Nuzu people. They dwelt in the district of Mesopotamia. Now, it said that these things can be relayed to some of the biblical studies in which we find in our Holy Scriptures. How so, one might ask? Let's read that. It says, although Albright's use of social customs in determining the background of the patriarchs is slender and hypothetical, the same cannot be said of C.H. Gordon. Remember his name. We're going to be talking about him very soon. Gordon gave particular attention to the Nuzi text as a source of comparison for the patriarchal narratives. So now, one might ask yourself, okay, well, or it may come up in conversation, well, do you have history of the patriarchal age, what is commonly called the patriarchal age? Yes, because the Nuzi people documented some of these things in their cuneiform tablets, right? And C.H. Gordon, being the historian that he was, excavated some of these things and made the comparison. It says, in an influential and comprehensive article published in 1940, well over 20 biblical passages were illuminated by the Nuzi material, the majority concerning the patriarchal narratives. His conclusion that the Nuzi texts, and this is a quote, tie in so closely with the patriarchal narratives that it is generally agreed that a close sociological relationship exists between the two sets of texts. So this means that the Nuzi texts are further solidifying all of the things that we are reading here, Jacob's flight, when he fled from Laban, and things of that sort. It goes on to say, provided the dominant reason for his being able to establish a clear historical background for the patriarchs. So now we have the history of our scriptures being tied in with those things that were excavated at Nuzi. It says, a third distinct approach was that of E.A. Spicer, whose work enjoyed as much influence as Gordon's, and who was, if anything, even more confident about the relevance of the Nuzi customs for the biblical patriarchs. He proposed more than 20 cases where the Nuzi text elucidated the book of Genesis alone, the same book in which we're reading today. It says, mainly in the sphere of family law. Many of Gordon's examples were accepted, but Spicer advocated, in addition, the existence of parallels to Isaac's deathbed, as we just read, Isaac's deathbed blessing, and the custom of wife-sister marriage, which we are also going to read. And then that was cited, from A.R. Millard and D.J. Wiseman, Essays of the Patriarchal Narratives, page 93 through 138. They go on to say, the second conclusion about the patriarchal age is that many scholars are confident that a definite historical setting can be found for it. There is, in fact, greater unanimity than is sometimes acknowledged on the date of the patriarchal age. And my source for that is the biblicalstudies.org.uk. Now, who was C.H. Gordon? Who was this man? Because we making all of these grandiose, or reading all this grandiose information. The newsy texts are going perfectly and succinct in line with what we are reading in our scriptures. Now, who was C.H. Gordon? It says Cyrus Herzl Gordon, born June 29th, 1908, died March 30th, 2001, was an American scholar of Near Eastern cultures and ancient languages. Gordon was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the son of a Lithuanian immigrant and physician, Benjamin Gordon. He was raised in an upper-class Jewish family with a particular emphasis on devotion to Jewish learning, rational thinking, as well as an openness to secular learning. As a scholar, he followed an education track typical of elite European philological scholars. Gordon began studying Hebrew at age 5 and became interested in both Greek and Latin as a young child. It goes on to say Gordon took his bachelor's, master's, and PhD or doctorate at the University of Pennsylvania, and also took courses at both nearby Gratz College and Dropsy College. These three institutions had specialized programs in the Bible, classics, and ancient Near East, all of which contributed to Gordon's historical philological bent. At these universities, Gordon studied Old Persian and Sanskrit as well. As an American Scholars of Oriental Research Fellow, Gordon spent the first half of the 1930s in the Near East, working out of both the Baghdad and Jerusalem centers. Gordon dug with Leonard Woolley at Ur and worked with Flinders Petrie. That should sound familiar. Flinders Petrie at Tel El Ayul. He worked with W.F. Albright, in which we just read about, at Tel Beit Mersim, and accompanied Nelson Gluck on his explorations in Transjordan. He was involved in the examination and translation of the Egyptian Tel El Amarna tablets while with the JDS Pendlebury expedition. Now, the Tel El Amarna tablets also provide more historicity for the Bible in which we read. Now, we got all of this history, right? Because this ain't something that was brought out to us. You can switch it back on me, Ak. This ain't something that was brought out to us. Hold up, wait a minute. Right. We got cats that are verifying all the way back to our father Jacob, right. And we ain't been taught this in history, in a history class or in school? Right. Sounds like a conspiracy to me. Sounds like they trying to hide something. What they trying to hide? That the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are the children of the Most High, that we are the Israelites. All praises to the Most High for such information now being able to be given out freely. Right. Because prior to this, to be honest with you, I was like, well, there is information, but how do we get it? Because they drive the price of books up through the roof. $4,000 books, $5,000 books, $10,000 books. We can't buy that. Right. We can't buy that with WIC money and all of that stuff, man. We can't do that, right? But now, all praises to the Most High, he said, man, you got to make that diligent search, because I guarantee you, if you search and you are led by me, then you will find those things in which I need you to know. And the Newsy tablets, the Newsy people, the Mitanni kingdom, all of that helps solidify the very scriptures in which we are reading. So now when somebody tries to come to you, well, the patriarchal age, that's debated, and the Newsy text can't actually be solidified because it's not within our timeline of when the Newsy people were actually alive and all that stuff. It's like, look, You got to stop trying to pinhole it into your idea of what this is.
Right.
Because it is unanimously agreed that the patriarchal age was a period in time, that Jacob did exist by G.H. Dallman as well as C.H. Gordon and E.A. Spicer, in which we are about to read. The Newsy people themselves documented certain aspects of our scriptures as we about to read with Leah, with Rachel, that we about to get into. Right. So now it's like, dang, okay. The Most High told me to make diligent search. Now I'm starting to see what he's talking about. All praise to the Most High. Let's go back to the slide. I told you that we were going to be speaking about E.A. Spicer. Ephraim Avador Spicer, born January 24th, 1902, and died June 15th, 1965, was a Jewish, Polish-born American Assyriologist. He discovered the ancient site of Tep Gara in 1927 and supervised its excavation between 1931 and 1938. Spicer was married to Sue Gimbel Dannenbaum, granddaughter of Charles Gimbel of the Gimbel brothers. They had 2 children together, Jean and Joel. Now it says from 1924 to 1926, Spicer was a Harrison Research Fellow in Semitics at the University of Pennsylvania. In 1926, he won a Guggenheim Fellowship to study the remains of the ancient Mitanni and Hurrians in northern Iraq. The members of the Mitanni Hurrian tribes still spoke Hittite. Spicer was one of few in the United States who could speak the language. So now we have historians, not just these men. When you actually read, there is a lot of people that is cited in that book that I told you about, the essays on the patriarchal narratives. There is a lot of information in that. I read the vast majority of it, and it was extremely eye-opening because I'm like, man, how is it that this history has been hid for so very long? How is it, right? But let's get into it. Let's get back to these scriptures. Because we need to prove some stuff now. We need to see if the Newsy texts, although have already been stated to bring some historicity to the Bible, now we need to go back into the scriptures, into our history books. Now, give me Genesis 29, 14 through 35.
Genesis chapter 29, verse 14.
Go ahead.
And Laban said to him, surely thou art my bone and my flesh, and have abided with him the space of a month. And Laban said unto Jacob, because thou art my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall thy wages be?
And so Laban is asking him, I'm not about to just have you working for free, man. What exactly do you want? What do I have to pay you? Go ahead.
And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel.
Go ahead.
Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored.
So Leah was cute. I'm like, man, okay, she looked good. Yeah. But man, Rachel though, ooh-wee. Man, and she was a keeper of the flock, a woman of her business? Right. Oh, man. Right. Oh, man. Okay, and we gonna see. Rachel, man, they was both looking out for their family. Go ahead.
And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter.
So now, man, Jacob vowed, he was like, man, I love your daughter so much, man. I'm willing to serve you for 7 years, completion. I'm willing to serve you for 7 years for your daughter's hand. So that way I can have her as my wife. Go ahead.
And Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me.
Now, this is an agreement that they made, right? This is an agreement. Okay, well, it's better that I give her to you than somebody else, one of these whack cats out here on the street. Right. Nah, I ain't about to do that. So, okay, go ahead and serve me 7 years. At the end of your 7 years, I will give my daughter to you. Go ahead.
And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel.
And what it seemed like. Go ahead.
And they seemed unto him but a few days.
Boy, that's love. That's love. Ain't that what everybody run around? Black love, boy. That's like, man, that's some serious love, some Israelite loving though. Yeah. some Israelite loving with some actual righteousness behind it. Because when you got two righteous individuals that are fearing the Most High God, boy, man, it ain't nothing that can stand in your way. It ain't nothing that can stand in your way. They seemed unto him but a few days. Go ahead.
For the love he had to her.
Read on.
Verse 21. And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her.
Now, honor the agreement that we just made. Go ahead and honor it. Let's go. Go ahead.
And Laban gathered together all the men of the place, and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to him.
Whoa, hold up. What? He brought Leah, his daughter. I thought the agreement was Rachel.
Okay.
So now we're starting to show you the character of Laban, right? It's like, well, this individual, a Syrian, you know what I'm saying? He didn't have that same character or that same complex to be God-fearing, right? He was like, well, I see that you bringing me a lot of favor, man. You bringing me a lot of cash money. Okay. Yeah, I'm not about to give you my Rachel. Because then you're going to try and get up out of here. Yeah, see? I ain't doing that. So that speaks to his character, but go ahead. And how wicked of an individual he was. Go ahead.
And he went in unto her. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah, his maid, for an handmaid. And
so you got to understand, it's like, I mean, he just served his 7 years. He getting down, grooming, like, man, I'm about to get my wife. I'm about to go up in there, and boom. We about to have us a marriage, boy. Yeah, let's go.
Pump fake.
I didn't serve, man. I didn't serve these 7 years, man. They didn't seem but a few days, but I'm ready.
Right.
Let's go. Go ahead.
And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, what is this that thou hast done unto me?
He like, man, what are you doing? We made an agreement, like, word is bond, bro. What are you talking about? You gonna give me Leah instead of Rachel? I served you 7 years for Rachel. 7 years is not a short amount of time. They seemed to him as though they was a few days, but 7 years is a long time. 7 years, it's crazy.
I don't think we have that strength nowadays.
We ain't got it, man.
We ain't got that kind of love.
We ain't got it. We done been degraded to such a point where it's like, man, after a month, it's like, girl, I'm ready to know you. I'm ready to know all the parts. It's like, come on, hold up, man. We got to have that same level of integrity that our forefather had. You know what I'm saying? So actually prove this person. Because you never know. You might get with a person, they look good in those 3 months, 6 months, 2 years. But after that second year, they start looking like a real serpent. They're like, well, it's good that I waited these many years to actually prove you. Because ain't that what the scriptures say? The scriptures say, prove a friend. Prove him. Make sure that he is good for you. Otherwise, you're going to have issues. And it's doubled, even tripled, when you getting with a person, whether it be man or woman. You getting with a person that ain't got the spirit of the Most High on them. Ooh, it is hell to pay.
Right.
Speaking from experience. It's like, man, you don't want that. You want to have an individual that has the fear of the Most High on them because it makes your life so much easier. You ain't got to worry about nothing. Then you skipping through the streets. You like, man, all praises, boy, we good, and we got kids. Man, my kids is good.
Right.
Coming home cooked meals, the house is clean, my baby is over here. What's up, Lord? How was your day? Like, ooh, wee. Dang, baby. Yeah, you know what, my day was pretty good. Or you know what, my day was pretty tough. But now my sanctuary is right.
Right.
I'm able to come home and have that love. Able to embrace that.
Right.
Man.
I'm dreaming of it.
We dreaming of it, man. We dreaming of it. Let's pick up from where we left off. We
Verse
were at
25.
Yep.
And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah, and he said to Laban, what is this that thou hast done unto me? Did I not serve with thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me?
So why are you lying to me? Why are you tricking me? Go ahead.
And Laban said, it must not be so done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn.
Which in and of itself was a blatant lie. It wasn't no custom. If that was the custom, that he would have mentioned that from the very beginning. Right? It's like, come on, man. If that was a custom, it's like, well, I can't give you my youngest daughter because in our country, we are supposed to give the older in marriage first. That would have been something that he would have already known.
Right.
But you can see the fact that he withheld this information and the way in which he went about it, that was a lie. That was a blatant lie at that point. Go ahead.
Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years.
Uh-huh.
And Jacob did so, and fulfilled her week.
Uh-huh.
And he gave him Rachel his daughter to wife also.
Uh-huh.
And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter Bilhah, his handmaid, to be her maid.
So now Jacob was actually able to attain Rachel, you know what I'm saying, the woman that he initially wanted. So this brother had to wait 14 years for the love of his life. I commend my forefather. I commend my forefather, man. Because a lot of us today, we getting tricked by our father-in-laws. That would have been ugly. That would have been real ugly. It's like, nah, man. Nah, I ain't doing that. Forget the deal. I'm taking her anyway, and I'm out of here.
Right.
But he's like, you know what? I still got to uphold my integrity. I still got to uphold that righteousness that lies within me. Right? I can't just be going over here and then leaving a bad stain in people's mouth. And they saying, well, see, that was the son of the Most High God. Look at how he got down.
Right.
It's like, nah, you got to uphold your integrity in all places, at all times. Right? But go ahead and read. Go ahead.
Verse 30.
Verse 30.
Mm-hmm. And he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet 7 other years.
So obviously this woman, this is who he wanted from the onset anyway. Right. So it would be apparent that he would love this woman a little bit more than he would love the woman that he didn't really find no interest in. She was cute and all that stuff, and man, but he was like, I want this woman, right? But go ahead.
And when the Lord saw that Leah was hated,
now let's go into that. It doesn't mean that Jacob actually had hatred for this woman in his heart. No, as it was just stated, we got to read things in context. He did not love Leah as much as he loved Rachel. He did not. Otherwise, he would have asked for both of their hands. He would have asked for both of them. But he said, no, I want Rachel. So it doesn't mean that she was actually hated by Jacob or anything like that. She just wasn't as loved as Rachel. Right. Go ahead.
He opened her womb, but Rachel was barren.
Go ahead.
And Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben. For she said, surely the Lord have looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me.
Now it's like, okay, the scripture said that the women will be saved in childbearing and things of that nature, right? So it's like, all right, well now, the water. Now it's like, okay, well now my husband is going to love me a little bit more because now I'm bearing a seed. I was talking to a few sisters, and it's been stated by multiple sisters that I've personally spoke to. They were like, man, to be honest with you, I don't have no issue with polygyny. It's just I want to be able to bear my husband some children. Right?
Let me be first.
Right. Yeah, it's like let me bear my husband some children first, man. Like let me do that because I don't want to be thrown to the wayside or anything like that. It's like, well, nah. When you're dealing with a righteous man, you wouldn't be thrown to the wayside in the first place. But that is well, again, for the sisters in which I've spoken to, that's what their reasoning is. I just want to be able to bear you some children. Right? But go ahead and read.
And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, because the Lord have heard that I was hated, he hath therefore given me this son also. And she called his name Simeon.
So now we're starting to see, now we're starting to see the 12 tribes being born. Go ahead and read.
And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, now this time will my husband be joined unto me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore was his name called Levi.
Go ahead.
And she conceived again and bare a son. And she said, now will I praise the Lord. Therefore she called his name Judah, and left bearing.
There you go. Now she's no more bearing children at that particular point in time. So she bare Jacob 4 sons. Like, boom, pop them out, right?
Okay.
Now, go ahead and read verse 1 of chapter 30. Down to 14.
Genesis chapter 30, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children,
Uh-huh.
Rachel envied her sister
Mm-hmm.
and said unto Jacob, give me children, or else I die.
Again, going back to what we just discussed, the vast majority of women, they just want to be able to bear children to continue their husband's name. Vast majority of women. I can't say for absolutely every woman. I ain't spoke to every woman in the world. But the ones in which I have spoken to, that is what they have conveyed to me, right? And sisters, if you agree, then definitely put it in the comments, by all means. Verse 2.
And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel.
Uh-huh.
And he said, am I in God's stead?
It's like, how you gonna press me?
Yeah.
I ain't the one that's over your wound. The Most High is saying, nah, you ain't supposed to be having children right now. How you gonna press me?
Right.
I'm just a servant of the Most High, just like you. But go ahead.
Who hath withheld from thee the fruit of the womb?
Uh-huh.
And she said, behold, my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her.
Read.
And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife, and Jacob went in unto her.
So now we got to ask the question, because a lot of people, oh, well, see, Ray and Rachel, they was jealous of each other. They hated each other. It's like, no, no. That's such a stretch of the truth that's not even funny. It's like, okay, well, what was their main goal? Right. To bear children, to bring some sort of value to their husband, right? That was their main goal. So did they hate one another? No. They were sisters. So they love one another. Of course you're going to have sibling rivalry. I mean, come on. You might have that. You might have that with your sister or with your brother. You're going to have sibling rivalry. We all have that. But to the extent that some people try to stretch it and say, well, nah, she hated her and all of that. Come on. Now you're lying, because that ain't the truth. But go ahead and read.
And Bilhah conceived and bare Jacob a son. And Rachel said, God hath judged me, and hath also heard my voice, and have given me a son. Therefore called she his name Dan.
Go ahead.
And Bilhah, Rachel's maid, conceived again, and bare Jacob a second son. And Rachel said, with great wrestling have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. And she called his name Naphtali.
Go ahead.
When Leah saw that she had left bearing, she took Zilpah, her maid, and gave her Jacob to wife.
So again, the whole push is to continue to further this man's name, to continue to build his house with these children. Go ahead.
And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a son.
Read.
And Leah said, a troop cometh, and she called his name Gad.
Read.
And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a second son. And Leah said, happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed. And she called his name Asher.
Okay, go ahead.
And Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest, and found mandrakes in the field, and brought them unto his mother Leah. Then Rachel said to Leah, give me, I pray thee, of thy sons mandrakes.
Now, those mandrakes, right? That's that natural stimulant. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's a natural stimulant. You know what I'm saying? That was found in the field. But now Reuben went out and gathered these mandrakes, right? Now drop down and give me verse 16.
Verse 16. And Jacob came out of the field in the evening.
Go ahead.
And Leah went out to meet him.
And what did he say? What she
said, thou must come in unto me, for surely I have hired thee with my son's mandrakes.
I mean, that's hilarious. You got to imagine that for a minute. It's like your wife just come about out of nowhere. You coming out the field, a long day's work, and you coming out, and she like, come on, baby, we about to get going. We about to get going. I done hired you for my mandrakes. I done traded my mandrakes for a night with you. Yeah. Baby, come on. I want you to love me. I want you to show me some affection. I want you to come into me, right? Go ahead.
And he lay with her that night.
Now go ahead.
And the Most High hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived, and bare Jacob the fifth son. And Leah said, God hath given me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my husband. And she called his name Issachar.
Go ahead.
And Leah conceived again, and bare Jacob the sixth son. And Leah said, the Most High have endued me with a good dowry. Now will my husband dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons. And she called his name Zebulun.
Now, you see, the Most High, you know what I'm saying, because Leah felt as though she was hated by her husband, you see how the Most High is giving her these children back to back. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, now you got 6 children that you didn't just bear to your husband. Right. Not counting the 2 that your handmaid have also just given to your husband, right? So now she's starting to find that love and that appreciation, right? Go ahead.
And afterwards she bare a daughter and called her name Dinah. And the Most High remembered Rachel, and the Most High hearkened to her and opened her womb. And she conceived and bare a son and said, the Most High have taken away my reproach. And she called his name Joseph and said, the Lord shall add to me another son. Which
we will see in a later chapter, right? Now, drop down, go to Genesis chapter 31 and verse 1 through 16. Again, I apologize if I'm rushing through it. We kind of got off to a very late start, so I don't want to keep y'all up, but definitely want to get through all these things. Now read verse 1 of chapter 31.
Genesis chapter 31, verse 1. And he heard the words of Laban's son, saying, Jacob have taken away all that was our father's, and of that which was our father's have he gotten all this glory.
So now we got Laban's kids, right, his sons, as well as even Laban himself, now really viewing Jacob in the same light that he did view him when he first got there, right? Because it's like, man, this cat is coming in and increasing, you know what I'm saying, far past what our pops was doing when he had all of these cattle and all of that stuff, right? So watch how he pulls up on his wives. Go ahead.
And Jacob beheld the countenance of Laban, and behold, it was not towards him as before. And the Lord said unto Jacob, return unto the land of thy fathers, and to thy kindred, and I will be with thee. And Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field unto his flock.
Go ahead.
And said unto them,
Now watch how he lay it on them. Go ahead.
I see your father's countenance, that it is not towards me as before, but the Most High of my father have been with me. And ye know that with all my power I have served your father. And your father have deceived me and changed my wages 10 times. But the Most High suffered him not to hurt me.
So now Jacob is continuing to uphold his integrity, not only before the sight of this man, Laban, but more so before the face of the Most High, which is exactly why the Most High was like, you know what, man, I'm going to get you up out of here. Don't even worry about it. I will be with you, as we see later on in the chapter. Go ahead and read.
If he said thus, the speckled shall be thy wages, then all the cattle bear speckled. And if he said thus, the ring straight shall be thy hire, then bear all the cattle ring straight.
So now the Most High was even looking out for him, because as it was just said, Laban changed his wages. It's like, all right, well, I'm going to take these, you're going to take those. So he was being deceitful yet again, even with Jacob, right? Deceiving him from the very beginning, and now even more so, continuing to deceive him, continuing to rob him, and continuing to be wicked before his face, right? But the Most High was like, all right, well, that's what you want to do. Whatever you say, my son, Jacob is going to continue to be increased. That's what his inheritance was, right? Go ahead.
Thus the Most High have taken away the cattle of your father and given them to me. And it came to pass at the time that the cattle conceived, that I lifted up my eyes and saw in a dream, and behold, the rams which leaped upon the cattle were ring-straked, speckled, and gristled. And the angel of the Most High spake unto me in a dream, saying, Jacob. And I said, Here I am. And he said, Lift up now thy eyes and see, all the rams which leap upon the cattle are ring-straight, speckled, and gristled. For I have seen all that Laban doeth unto thee.
So the Most High is like, man, he just sent his angel. He's like, man, I see all that Laban is doing unto you, but don't even worry about it. You continue to uphold your righteousness, and the Most High will be for you, right? That's what this these aspects of history is teaching us. It's like, man, you continue to serve the Most High, who can be against you? Right. As the scriptures would say, right? It's like if you continue to serve the Most High, of course it's easy for the Most High to make you a rich man. It's easier for him to make you a poor man. It's like, but if you uphold your integrity before the Most High, he's going to make sure that you increase. Right? But go ahead.
Verse 13, I am the Most High of Bethel, where thou anointest the pillar, and where thou vowest a vow unto me. Now arise, get thee out from this land, and return unto the land of thy kindred.
And the Most High said, man, it's time to bounce back to your land. You know what I'm saying? You have multiplied in this land. You got your babies, you got your cattle, you got your increase. Now it's time to get back to your father's house. Right? But go ahead. And
Rachel and Leah answered and said unto him, is there yet any portion or inheritance for us in our father's house?
Go ahead.
And are we not counted of him strangers? For he hath sold us and have quite devoured also our money.
Whew, so even his daughters was hot with him. Not just Jacob. They said, man, he didn't stole from us. He didn't change our money. He didn't sold us like we were just some cats on the street, man. Shoot. Okay. Now what they say? Go ahead.
For all the riches which the Most High have taken from our father, that is ours and our children's.
It's like that belongs to us, man. He should be passing that down to us. But this man, being the greedy individual that he was like, nah, I'm gonna keep that. Right. Y'all could, get the scraps when I'm done with it. But go ahead. What they say?
Now then, whatsoever the Most High have said unto thee, do.
Whoo, they said, now then, whatsoever the Most High said to you, do it. Now this man just roasted his father-in-law. I mean, he was going in, right? In front of his wives. This man wasn't scared. He was like, nah, this individual has been robbing us, hasn't actually been a good father-in-law and a good father and a good grandfather or anything like that. Man, the Most High said, it's time for us to bounce. I'm going to come and address y'all. I'm going to talk to y'all, and then we're going to get up out of here. This is what we doing. And his wives was all on board. They was like, man, let's go. I mean, shoot, you've had that integrity. Our father hasn't. Right. Whatever the Most High God is telling you, do that. Right? Seeing that the Spirit of the Most High was working yet again. Go down to verse 21.
Verse 21. So he fled with all that he had, and he rose up and passed over the river and set his face towards the Mount Gilead. And it was told Laban on the third day that Jacob was fled.
So they bounced out of there. They got up out of there. They started listening, or they listened rather, to the Most High God and what he said. Go ahead.
And he took his brethren with him and pursued after him 7 days' journey. And they overtook him in the Mount Gilead.
So Laban caught up to him. Laban caught up to him and wanted to address them. Go ahead and drop down to verse 27.
Verse 27. Wherefore didst thou flee away secretly and steal away from me? And didst not tell me that I might have sent thee away with mirth and with songs, with timbrels, and with harp, and has not suffered me to kiss my sons and my daughters? Thou have now done foolishly in so doing.
That's like now all of a sudden now he caring. It's like, come on, man. You were just stealing from us and not actually building an inheritance for your same granddaughters and your daughters that you apparently love so much. Right. You was just stealing from them. And you was just treating your son-in-law as though he was just a hired servant. Right. It's like, man, don't you understand that this is your nephew too? This is your kin, bro. Right. It's like, but that continues, right? And he continues to be unrighteous. But go ahead. What the Most High do?
It is in the power of my hand to do you hurt. But the Most High of your father spake unto me yesternight, saying, take thou heed that thou speak not to Jacob either good or bad.
So the Most High intervened yet again. And was like, nah, when you go and go up to my servant Jacob, don't speak to him good or bad. Otherwise, I'm going to repay you for that bad in which you spoke unto him. Right. And being the carnal individual, they afraid of death. Right. They like, no, I need to hold on to my riches. Okay, I could kill you, but your God is real. Your God is real. So I'm going to back on up. I'm going to back on up, and I'm going to come in peace. But go ahead.
And now, though thou would have needs be gone, because thou sore longest after thy father's house, yet wherefore hast thou stolen my goods? And Jacob answered and
Stolen
said,
my gods.
stolen my gods. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, because I was afraid, for I said, peradventure thou wouldst take by force thy daughters from me.
Because Laban was, you couldn't figure out where he was at. It was kind of like 1 minute you this way, another minute you that way. Like, I don't know if you're going to kill me and then say, all right, well, I done got everything I could from this dude. Right. You know what I'm saying? Or if you was going to take your daughters, I don't know where you at, man. I really don't. But now, key in, because Laban said, yet wherefore thou hast stolen my gods. That's important. That's very important. Now read verse 32, excuse me.
Verse 32, with whomsoever thou findest thy gods, let him not live. Before our brethren discern thou what is thine with me, and take it to thee. For Jacob knew not that Rachel has stolen them.
Go ahead.
And Laban,
now have you ever asked yourself why she did that? She had to know that Jacob wasn't about to bow down to these gods, right? She had to know that. So it's like, okay, well, why did she take these gods? What was the point? That makes no sense. She knows that she can't have them and all that stuff. She knows she can't serve them, right? Let's continue to read.
And Laban went into Jacob's tent, and into Leah's tent, and unto the two maidservants' tent, but he found them not. Then went he out of Leah's tent and entered into Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the images and put them in the camel's furniture, and sat upon them. And Laban searched all the tent, but found them not.
Go ahead.
And she said to her father, let it not displease my lord that I cannot rise up before thee, for the custom of women is upon me. And he searched, but found not the images.
Now go ahead and read. How Jacob respond?
And Jacob was wroth.
He was hot. He was like, man, you going to falsely accuse me of stealing your gods? Ain't nobody steal your gods, man. Get up on my face. Right. How dare you imply that I don't have character? It's like, what do kids say? I don't even know what kids say today. But imagine somebody coming up to you, you being a very, having a very staunch belief in integrity and character, and somebody coming up to you saying that you're a liar and that you a buster. It's like, whoa, hold up, man. Right. That's disrespectful. Now you're just talking out the side of your neck. Right. Especially when you are the one that's been doing all of the wrong. And now you're going to accuse me of doing some wrong to you? Man, if you don't get up out of my face with that, now go ahead, read.
And Jacob was wroth and showed with Laban. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, what is my trespass? What is my sin, that thou hast so hotly pursued after me?
Now again, Jacob didn't know that Rachel had these gods. Right. But again, ask the question, why did she have these gods? It don't make no sense. Right. Jacob was not about to bow down to these things. But the Nuzi tablets and the Nuzi letters shed more light on that. Right? The same history that they don't want you to know about and that provide more historicity for the Bible, that actually gives us a better understanding of why Rachel did that. Now, it's recorded, it says, the teraphim which Rachel stole from Laban are also illustrated from the Nuzu information. These were plainly household gods, implying leadership of the family, and in the case of a married daughter, ensured her husband the right of the property of her father. That's heavy. That's heavy. Wow. Because as soon as they left, they said, hey, whatever the Most High tell you to do it. Because they saw how their father was moving. Right. All the unrighteousness that he was doing. And how he was depriving not only his daughters, but his grandchildren and their entire house of actually gathering some gain. Right. So Rachel was like, well, I'm going to take it upon myself. If my father ever passes away, all of his property then goes to my husband. Right. Man, that's heavy. Right. That's heavy. That's some serious forward thinking right there. This sister had it in her mind like, you know what? I need to make sure that my family is set. And again, we have these Nuzu tablets, these Nuzu letters, or Nuzi tablets and Nuzu letters, Nuzi, excuse me, to provide more information and to give us a better understanding on these things. Of course, they're not going to let you know these things because they don't want you to actually understand your scriptures. But all praise to the Most High that was actually brought out. Now drop down to verse 43.
Verse 43. And Laban answered and said unto Jacob, These daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and these cattle are my cattle, and all that thou seest is mine. And what can I do this day unto these my daughters, and unto their children which they have borne?
Now he done switched up his tune. These are my daughters, these are my kids, man, these are my grandbabies. I can't do nothing to them, man. Now he done switched up his tune because just a few chapters ago, he wasn't feeling like that. Right. But go ahead and read.
Now therefore, come thou, let us make a covenant, I and thou, and let it be for a witness between me and thee. And Jacob took a stone and set it up for a pillar.
Go ahead.
And Jacob said unto his brethren, Gather stones. And they took stones and made a heap. And they did eat there upon the heap.
Now, Laban and Jacob are making a covenant, right? And what is that covenant for? Go ahead.
And Laban called it Jigashah Duthan.
Yeah.
But Jacob called it Gilead.
Go ahead.
And Laban said, This heap is a witness between me and thee this day. Therefore was the name of it called Gilead.
Yup. Now drop down and give me verse 51 through 55.
Verse 51. And Laban said to Jacob, Behold this heap, and behold this pillar, which I have cast betwixt me and thee. This heap be witness, and this pillar be witness, that I will not pass over the heap to thee, and that thou shalt not pass over this heap and this pillar unto me for harm.
So now, this particular pillar, this heap, as it is called, was supposed to be a physical representation of the bond or the covenant which they made. It's like, all right, well, I ain't gonna come and do nothing to you. You ain't gonna come and try and do nothing to me, right? In the near future or anything like that. That's what that actually symbolized. But go ahead and read.
The God of Abraham and the God of Nahar, the God of their father, judged between us. And Jacob sware by the fear of his father Isaac. Then Jacob offered sacrifice upon the mount and called his brethren to eat bread.
Go ahead.
And they did eat bread and tarried all night in the mount. And early in the morning Laban rose up and kissed his sons and his daughters.
So now they done ate bread, you know what I'm saying? They all full, they done went to sleep and they done rose up. They ate bread, they was like, all right, well, we're gonna make sure, we're gonna make this official. This is before the face of the Most High. Again, the Most High was like, man, if you come and try and do anything to Jacob, know I'm going to be there for that butt. You already know. I'm going to come and tap it because I told you. Now, if you don't want to listen, that's up to you. But the Most High said, no, I'm going to protect my servant, Jacob, and his family. Go ahead.
And early in the morning, Laban rose up and kissed his sons and his daughters and blessed them. And Laban departed and returned unto his place.
All right, perfect. Give me chapter 32, 1 through 5. Excuse me, 1 through 6.
Genesis chapter 32, verse 1. And Jacob went on his way, and the angels of God met him. And when Jacob saw them, he said, This is God's host. And he called the name of that place Mahanaim. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau, his brother, unto the land of Seir.
Now again, he's going back to his father's house. Now when he left, Esau was in the mind that he was going to slay him, right after their father passed away. So he's sending these messengers as a peace offering to Esau, saying, all right, well, I'm on my way back. I want to make sure everything is cool between us because I want to come back to my father's house. Being wise to that extent, right? Go ahead.
The country of Edom. And he commanded them, saying, Thus shall ye speak unto my lord Esau. Thy servant Jacob says thus, I have sojourned with Laban and stayed there until now. And I have oxen and asses, flocks, and men servants and women servants. And I have sent to tell my lord that I may find grace in thy sight.
Because he doesn't want to go back and then all of the things in which he gained, especially his family, he doesn't want them to be put in jeopardy, right? Go ahead.
And the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, We came to thy brother Esau, and also cometh to meet thee, and 400 men with him.
So now Esau is on his way back. He's like, all right, well, perfect. My brother coming back. I'm coming to meet you.
Right.
Now Jacob, he was like, oh, snap. Here we go. All right. So let me make a plan. We're going to skip that little part because we are far over our time. But he came back, and they actually met. And Esau actually came with open arms and actually was peaceable with him. Mm-hmm. Now, give me chapter 32, 24 through 29.
Genesis chapter 32, verse 24. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh. And the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint. And he wrestled with him. And
now, I don't know if anybody has ever taken any Brazilian jiu-jitsu or any fighting classes or anything like that. When you're punching, you get tired. Right. You get tired punching. But when you're on the ground wrestling, whoo, that's a whole nother level of endurance and stamina that you need. Right. I've taken Brazilian jiu-jitsu in the past, and I tell you, you get gassed after 20 seconds. Right. Now, he said he wrestled with this individual, this angel, what did he say, for all night?
Until the breaking of the day.
Until the breaking of the day. He said, nah, bruh, you ain't going nowhere. You mine. Get back over here. Oh, you thought you was moving. Right. Oh, no. But why? Why'd he do that? Go ahead.
And he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me.
Except you bless me. Give me that blessing, right? So Jacob's getting blessed left and right. Go ahead.
And he said unto him, what is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel.
Ooh, that's powerful. Go ahead and read.
For as a prince hast thou power with the Most High and with men.
Man.
And has prevailed.
Man. So now you already have the inheritance, the blessing, of dominion over the entire earth. But now even more so to solidify that very clear fact. Now you have the name to back it up. Yasha Allah, Prince of Power, prevailing with God and men. Whoo-wee. No wonder they want y'all to be called blacks, niggas, Mexicans, spooks, and all of that stuff. The power in that name is astronomical. We already see that's why Malcolm X changed his name, right? He was like, man, I ain't no Malcolm Little. My name defines me. So I'm Malcolm X, and everybody knows him by Malcolm X. Nobody calls him Malcolm Little. He's like, nah, I changed my name because of the power that was behind that name. Right. So Jacob had the same understanding, even way before Malcolm X did. It's like, you know what? Nah, I need that blessing. Give me that blessing. And then his name was changed to Israel. And then from there, we have the progeneration of the Israelites, the descendants of Jacob, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans today, and those that are scattered abroad. Israelites, according to the scriptures, according to the history that we just finished going over. But go ahead and read verse 29.
And Jacob asked him and said, tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, wherefore is it that thou doest ask after my name? And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel. For I have seen the Most High face to face, and my life is preserved.
Con. So now he's like, all right, I'm asking your name and all of that stuff, man. I've seen the Most High face to face on this day. All praises. And now I have this blessing, right, to solidify the inheritance in which the Most High had already given me. Give me Genesis chapter 35, 1 through 5.
Genesis chapter 35, verse 1. And the Most High said unto Jacob, arise, go up to Bethel, and dwell there, and make there an altar unto the Most High, that appeared unto thee when thou fleddest from the face of Esau thy brother.
Now, for context, we see in the previous two chapters, then Esau came and met with Dinah had gone out and was observing the women of the land in which they dwelt, which was in Shechem. and she actually ended up getting raped by one of the men of stature there. You know what I'm saying? And Simeon and Levi then went and repaid them, those Hamites, the Hamitic nation, for the trespass that they had made against their father's house. They was like, man, you can't just expect us to just be cool with y'all after y'all done just raped our sister. In no way, shape, or form are we okay with that. So they went, had them promise to circumcise themselves, and ended up slaying an entire city. But go ahead and read verse 2.
Then Jacob said unto his household, and to all that were with him, put away the strange gods that are among you, and be clean, and change your garments. And let us arise and go up to Bethel, and I will make there an altar unto the Most High, who answered me in the day of my distress, and was with me in the way which I went.
Go ahead and read.
And they gave unto Jacob all the strange gods which were in their hand, and all their earrings which were in their ears. And Jacob hid them under the oak which was by Shechem.
Now, Jacob was ensuring that his family was going to serve the Most High to its totality, in sincerity and in truth. Go ahead and read.
And they journeyed, and the terror of the Most High was upon the cities that were round about them.
Now it's like, dang, man, these cats just went in and slayed an entire city of people. They couldn't even lift up a hand. I know from conversations in which I've had with brothers, I personally didn't have to go through it, but conversations that I've had with brothers that are grown men or teenagers and things like that, that have had to be circumcised, they like, man, the pain is excruciating. Even the very fabric from their boxers and touching on it, it's like, man, that is enough pain in and of itself. So imagine being able to go in and slay all of these cats when they can't do nothing against you. They can't lift up a finger because they all hurting and in pain. So now all of the nations looking like, whoa, we ain't never seen nothing like that before. That's crazy. A small battalion of men just went and slayed these hundreds of people? That's wild. That's wild, man. We ain't messing with y'all. We ain't messing with y'all. Go ahead, go. Go ahead, go. We don't want no parts of y'all. But go ahead and read.
And the terror of the Most High was upon the cities that were round about them, and they did not pursue after the sons of Jacob.
Now, they did not pursue after the sons of Jacob. And when you read that story, Jacob was pissed because they were like, or he asked the question, he was like, yo, did you consider the fact of what this may do for us? All of these other nations that are round about us may see that we are a threat and may try to come and kill us and slay us. Like, did y'all think ahead? Obviously, y'all didn't. But again, the Most High moving allowed that to go down and allowed Jacob and his family to be safe. Now, drop down and give me verse 16 through 20.
Verse 16, and they journeyed from Bethel, and there was but a little way to come to Ithroth. And Rachel travailed, and she had hard labor. And it came to pass, when she was in hard labor, that the midwife said unto her, fear not, thou shalt have this son also. And it came to pass, as her soul was departing, for she died, that she called his name Benoni, but his fathers called him Benjamin.
Now, this was the same son in which she had said in Genesis chapter, I believe it was 31, where she said, the Most High will add to me yet another son, right? So this was that son in which she was talking about, Benjamin, right? Which eventually, through the history and all that stuff, ended up taking over, or Dan ended up being engrafted in to a certain degree with Benjamin. But now, go ahead and read with verse 19.
And Rachel died and was buried in the way of Ithroth, which is in Bethlehem. And Jacob set a pillar upon her grave. That is the pillar of Rachel's grave unto this day.
Unto this day. So she died in childbearing, right? Giving birth to Benjamin. Drop down and read verse 23.
Verse 23, the sons of Leah, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and Simeon, and Levi, and Judah, and Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel, Joseph and Benjamin, and the son of Bilhah, Rachel's handmaid, Dan, Naphtali, and the son of Zilpah, Leah's handmaid, Gad, and Asher. These are the sons of Jacob, which were born to him in Paddan-aram.
Go ahead.
And Jacob came unto Isaac his father unto Mamre, unto the city of Arthba, which is Hebron. Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac sojourned.
So now we got the complete list of all of Jacob's sons, and now he's going back to Isaac, his father, to see his father's death through. Go ahead.
And the days of Isaac were 180 years. And Isaac gave up the ghost and died, and was gathered unto his people, being old and full of days. And his son Esau and Jacob buried him.
So now Jacob and Esau were able to bury their father. The 12 sons and the 12 tribes were then already being put into effect, right? But now, let's go to Genesis chapter 48, verse 1 through 5.
Genesis chapter 48, verse 1.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass after these things that one told Joseph, Behold, thy father is sick. And he took with him his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim.
Now these are the two sons in which we recognize to be a part of the 12 tribes of Israel. Now, oftentimes, as we see, Ephraim is typically the head of the northern kingdom, and Judah is typically attributed to be the head of the southern kingdom. Go ahead.
And one told Jacob and said, Behold, thy son Joseph cometh unto thee. And Israel strengtheneth himself and sat upon the bed.
Now Joseph was bringing his sons because he wanted them to be blessed as well. Go ahead, read verse 3.
And Jacob said unto Joseph, The most God Almighty appeared unto me at Luz in the land of Canaan, and blessed me, and said unto me, Behold, I will make thee fruitful, and multiply thee, and I will make of thee a multitude of people, and will give this land to thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession. And now thy two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt before I came unto thee into Egypt, are mine. As Reuben and Simeon, they shall be mine.
So now Jacob took these two sons of Joseph as though they were his own sons, right? And now he's going to pass down the blessing to them. Drop down and give me verse 16. 16 through 20.
Verse 16. The angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, and let my name be named on them, in the name of my fathers, Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow until a multitude in the midst of the earth.
So now he's passing that same blessing onto Ephraim and Manasseh, as he will do eventually with his other sons. Go ahead.
And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him, and he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head. Hold up, man.
You're like, nah, Dad, you got the wrong one. Hold up, this is the firstborn. This is the firstborn right here. You over here trying to go to Ephraim. Nah, hold on. Let me help you out, Dad.
Right.
Help you out, Dad. Now he didn't understand what Jacob was doing. Go ahead and read.
And Joseph said unto his father, Not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head. And his father refused and said, I know it, my son.
He said, Boy, I know that. Come on, you don't know that that Manasseh, you don't think that I know that Manasseh is your firstborn? Right. Obviously, I know that. Right. But I'm trying to show you something. Go ahead.
He also shall become a people, and he also shall be great. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he.
Go ahead.
And his seed shall become a multitude of nations.
He said, but he shall be greater than his brother. Right. No disrespect. Manasseh is going to be great.
Right.
But Ephraim is going to be even better. Right. Again, the head of the northern kingdom. And then Judah being the head of the southern kingdom. We see these two individuals. And Jacob took on his grandsons as his own sons. Go ahead and read.
And Israel said unto Joseph, Behold, I die, but the Most High shall be with you, and bring you again unto the land of your fathers.
Mm-hmm.
Moreover, I have given to thee one portion above thy brethren, which I took out of the hand of the Amorite with a sword and with my bow.
Go ahead.
Genesis 49, verse 1.
Oh, excuse me. No. Go ahead and back up to verse 20. My bad. Go
Verse
ahead
20. And he blessed them that day, saying, In thee shall Israel bless, saying, The Most High make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh.
So he set Ephraim before Manasseh. So now we have the full list, right, of the 12 tribes of Israel, right? We have Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, then going down into Ephraim and Manasseh, and so on and so forth. Now, we have then completed our journey from Jacob to the 12 tribes and the 12 sons. We have completed our journey. Now, Israel, I got to say one more time, we have to make diligent search. We have to actually invest time into this, because these are not things that's just going to fall into your lap, because these people have made a concerted effort to try and hide this information to the best of their ability, because they do not want their kingdom to end. So, again, Most High is saying, you have to go out and search for these things. Now give me Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 15, and we're going to end it off with this one.
Proverbs chapter 14, verse 15. The simple believeth every word,
Go ahead.
but the prudent man looketh well to his going.
The fool believes every word that is told to him. So, all right, well, they saying that this can't be true, so obviously it's not true. Well, the book, the Holy Bible is written by a white man, so obviously, you know what I'm saying, we can't trust that book. When documented in history, that isn't the case. Well, we see that the timeline doesn't match up, so therefore the entire Bible is false. It's like, well, when we actually look at it, that is not true as well. It said, but the prudent man looketh well to his going, right? So the way in which you are to walk, you are going to make sure that these things are something that is actually being guided by way of the Most High God, and not just based off of your own assumptions or vain opinions. Make sure that the evidence lines up with what thus saith the Lord, and not just, oh, well, I feel like this is right. We ain't dealing with feelings here, we're dealing with facts. With that, did you have anything, God?
I'm good.
Shoot, with that, we say all praise to the Most High, and shoot, Israel, let's make it home, man. Let's make it home. Let's rise and face our city, Jerusalem.
Did you cut it out?